Brunch, a daily morning show where we talk about the latest topics in entertainment. I'm Brittany Jones-Cooper.
I'm Shannon Coffey.
I'm Allie Colbert.
And I'm Lucas Tim. Hi, everyone.
Hey, guys.
And today we are gonna talk about Chris Pratt and Katherine Schwarzenegger's romantic date, HBO's new dating doc Swiped, Barack Obama hitting the campaign trail, and New York's candidate for governor Cynthia Nixon's bagel controversy. Plus, Daredevil American rock climbers Tommy Caldwell and Kevin Jorgeson join us today.
Ooh, but I have a first course for us. Did you guys see the Kendall Jenner photo shoot?
Yes.
It was all over my Twitter last night. For those of you who don't know, Kendall Jenner did a completely nude photo shoot on a beach where she was running. It was very physical. She was on top of a horse, just bare crotch on a horse saddle. You never know.
That is bareback.
I saw the leaping running
That's
one.
brave.
Yeah, very brave.
That leaping running one reminded me of like that Hillary Swank photo shoot from like 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Did that stay with anyone else?
Well, they do have very similar body types. That like long, lean, very strong.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
And it didn't stick with me the same way.
Okay.
People are being so cruel on
They
social
are.
media, like really mean.
I don't know how you could be mean to Kendall Jenner. She's like the most beautiful girl in
I
the
know,
world.
it's ridiculous. I saw one tweet that was like, I'm sorry to repeat it, but it was like, oh, look at Michael Jackson on the beach.
Yeah, it's very rude. And I saw people criticizing her for having no titties. And I was like, that's so rude considering you guys criticize all her sisters for having all this plastic surgery.
Right.
So it's like, what do you want? You want someone to be naturally born, completely like hourglass perfect? That doesn't exist. Go fuck yourself.
She's also so hot and so just attractive.
Yeah.
She's a fucking supermodel.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable. She can't win.
Well, it's just women's bodies are always under a microscope no matter what. You can be thin, you can be curvy, and no matter what, you're wrong. So what are we supposed to do? We're all supposed to be robots. Eat, eat pasta. Don't care what anybody thinks, Kendall. You look great.
I think we should eat the flesh of sexist men, like cannibalism. Like we should murder them and eat them.
Cool. You know what? We're gonna move on, but we're gonna think about
I'm with
that.
her.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay? All right.
thinking about
So
it.
Chris
Kill it,
Pratt and Katherine
Seasoning.
Schwarzenegger are taking their relationship to the next level. The new couple recently took a romantic getaway to Napa Valley where they enjoyed some delicious wine, mingled with friends, and spent time with Pratt's family. Napa is beautiful, guys.
Chris
This time
Pratt, you know, I was kind of had like anger towards him because I felt like he just like was chubby, lost some weight, dumped his wife, and is now dating a Schwarzenegger. And I was like, that's kind of douchey.
Yeah.
But now I feel like, you know, it's okay. Like, I'm happy for him. Like, I'll let him do him. But before, he didn't have my approval.
Well, there was a lot of backlash after their separation, actually, because they were one of those couples in Hollywood that everybody loved. And Anna Faris recently actually spoke out about that. She was like, going on social media after we broke up was tough because everybody was like, you were relationship goals. And she sort of started realizing.
You were relationship goals.
They kind of did it to themselves, though. She was like, there's so many honest moments we didn't share on social media and gave people the perception that we were this perfect couple when really they were like any couple. And I think they broke up for reasons, you know, private to them. But like, we see them together in public still. They have a son. They're raising him together. They seem really supportive of each other. So then it's like, why should we be mad if they're okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, knowing them, they won't share the hardships they have in raising that child.
Yeah, that's true.
And like you, I mean, like you said, I think, you know, we fell in love with him as Andy Dwyer, and he's this chubby, goofy character in Parks and Rec, and she, of course, was in like The House Bunny and Scary Movie, and
They were so relatable.
They were so relatable and
Yeah.
funny and goofy. So of course, it's like we wanted them. It was kind of Will Arnett, Amy Poehler,
Yeah.
a little
Yeah,
bit like that.
totally.
Like we wanted them to be together because they're so funny. So when they broke up, and you know, coinciding,
We
Chris,
were like, that's not funny.
that's not funny. This is not making me laugh. And because Chris became also a movie star, like a huge
Yeah.
star, and lost a lot of weight and stuff. But what I read, I think, you know, he's very religious now, so he's very serious about this kind of, with dating and bringing a girl home to meet his parents. So I think they're very serious. And I did not know Maria Shriver, her mother, introduced them.
That's
Oh,
a good mom.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
either. That's
I
so
didn't know that
That's a
either.
really good mom. Yeah, I mean, and Katherine.
Good mom.
That's a good mom. My mom hasn't set me up with anybody. Katherine, though, is really, I think, an impressive young lady. Like, I think it's hard having, she's a Kennedy and a Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
She's very famous on both sides, but she has carved out her own path as an author. She seems very self-sufficient. She's really deep in her faith like he is. So when I think of the pairing, it actually seems really genuine and probably good for both of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
They seem like nice people.
Do we know how he fell into faith recently? Is there? I didn't hear about that.
I'm not totally familiar with
A
it.
bumpy plane ride. He just
He was just like,
found
I
Jesus
love
in the
God.
cabin.
Yeah.
Like, what did I do with my life? Yeah, no, with the VMA speech, we know he he talked about God, but I remember reading that previously, right around the time of his divorce and Jurassic World was blowing up. I think he
Yeah.
became
Yeah.
religious.
Well, he did go from like not very famous to uber famous, and I think that probably makes you look at life in a different way and kind of
lived in
like
his van.
your values. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did he live in a van?
But pre-Parks and Rec, when he was like a struggling actor in LA, like lived in his van
Yeah.
and was like.
That's when
poor.
I would find God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
In a
You're
van.
like, please save me.
No, see, I would find God when I'm a successful movie star. I'd be like, oh, God does
Yeah.
love me. Like,
Yeah.
whew, like,
Like I gotta
Man.
thank somebody for this because
Yeah.
I do not have talent.
yeah.
I'm speaking for me, not Chris Pratt.
You know who does have talent?
He's very talented. He's
Is
fine.
Anna Faris has talent. She still has
Yeah, she's
mom
so
and like
funny.
a podcast. She's
Her podcast, Unqualified, have you guys listened to it?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Amazing.
She
really,
just
really
gives
funny.
unqualified advice to people, and she like admits she's like, I'm not qualified, and then she talks and gives people advice
That's
for an hour.
exactly what my mom does, but she doesn't have a podcast.
Oh man, get her a podcast.
No.
Why are you
I would
holding your
listen
mom
to-
back?
I would listen to your mom's podcast.
mom's unqualified advice, like medical advice, school
Yeah.
advice, job
Yeah.
advice. I love that.
Put Neosporin on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vicks. Put
Yeah,
Vicks on it.
gotta put Vicks in
Ponele
it.
Vicks.
I saw a woman on the train shoving Vicks in her nose, and I was like, should I tell her that doesn't go in there?
Right.
She was like jamming it in. I was like, oh man, I shouldn't tell people how to live their lives.
Just eating it with a spoon.
You aren't
Yeah.
supposed to put it in your nose or like on your face, really. I
You
think.
can.
No.
I put it here.
Well, like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, but she was like fingering both hoes, like, on the subway, and I was like, no. And then you see her like hold on to the bar, like, and you're like, it's flu season.
Flu
I
season
saw a
in New
man
York.
sneeze into his hand and go, oh, and he was sitting down and he was next to the pole and he goes, oh, and like rubs it all over the pole, and I was like, you literally are a monster. You're trying to murder us.
Yeah. No, he should be put in prison. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Lock him up.
yeah, exactly. That's how I was talking to lock him up. Yeah.
Let's lock everybody up. Can we just like lock
Hashtag
people
lock
up?
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're eating sexist men, and we're locking up everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
HBO premiered its newest documentary, Swipe, this week, which explored all the questions we have about dating apps. In the doc, filmmakers examined whether apps promote a hookup culture or actually help people find true love. Swiped also sheds light on the business side of these apps. Let's take a look at the trailer.
I've probably used every dating app.
It became so easy, why wouldn't you do it?
There you go. There's the match.
They be like, no fat women, no blacks, only 18 to 25.
A lot of the companies are started by boys. They're not men, they're boys. That's why it is the way it is.
All the guys, they're looking for that night hookups.
Most of your Tinder dates
Get physical real quick.
I'm so caught up in how I look. And then I'm also caught up in how they look. It's hard work, that self-presentation.
Social media is enlightening a lot of young women to realize I don't have to be treated like a sex object for the rest of my life.
I do remember when you used to call people on the phone. I think if you called someone these days, you'd probably get labeled a psychopath.
That's true. If I get a call from someone, I'm like, you better be bleeding because I'm not gonna pick this up.
Really, I love phone calls.
I love phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever someone's like, I'm gonna call you, I'm like, oh my God, it's happening.
Yeah.
And you get to hear their voice, and like,
No,
it's just so much better.
It is nice. I
It
just
is.
was, fucking around.
No, some people, I know people who are like, don't
Okay,
fucking
act-
call me, and I'll be like, come on, I am actually bleeding.
Right.
I knifed myself on purpose so you would pick up.
I think it depends on who's calling. I mean, I think if it's somebody who I really like and they call me, I'm like, oh my God, he loves me. But then if it's somebody creepy, I'm like, oh, that's creep calling.
Yeah.
I think it's like case by
Yeah.
case. But so I actually got to watch this documentary last night, and it's super depressing, guys. Dating is horrible now, and I think dating apps have a reason. They have to take some responsibility for that. It has showed how detached we are from our communities.
Yeah, well, I think what this documentary and the articles that coincide with it are saying is like the companies have a responsibility to kind of address the culture they're creating, and a lot of, like we talked about, a lot of these companies were created by men, kind of for men. And what's so interesting to me that what they talk about is how women do, like in the world, do most of the work, even on these apps, while men get to have this like Clark Kent syndrome, which is I think a really nice profile, but then they'll start sending you dick pics when you show one sense of like whatever.
The idea that this is an average guy who
Right.
could just, rip off his suit and show you his dick.
Right.
That's basically, which is hilarious.
It's true. And it used to be, and they talk about this in the documentary, it used to be only men who were like very accomplished and had money that could like sleep with women as often as they want and kind of use women this way. But now like your average Joe Schmo can really like have sex with a different girl every day of the week if he really wants to, because it's that accessible to him. And they were talking about the impact that that's had on women and on dating, and then just on like biology in general, how it's just changed that whole like dating thing that used to be important.
I mean, we should say also women have every right if they just want to sleep around too. But I think it's a society we live in that it shames women for doing that, while men, like they show in this trailer, are celebrated for treating women like objects.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even they talk about Bumble, which is supposed to intended to be like empowering women because they make the first move. One expert was arguing that actually allows men to kind of be lazy.
It does.
And sit back and just be like, okay, they'll show up.
Yeah, they are pretty lazy in general, though. Haven't you noticed? Like when you're dating dudes, you're like, oh my God, you're so lazy. You don't make the plans. You don't do the texting. You don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
That's why it's such a turn on when a guy will be like, this is where we're going on our date. I made the reservation. Meet me here. I'm like, okay. I mean, this is not happening for me right now, but yeah, that's very hot. Back in the day. This Swipe documentary, it was made by Nancy Jo Sales, who, if anyone likes Pretty Wild, that's Nancy Jo! This is Alexis calling. So we're 4-inch BB shoes. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Remember
Clap if you know. Clap if you know. Okay.
Then she's like, Mom, shut up!
I thought you have to re-record!
She's yelling at her mom, who's sobbing too.
Such a good meltdown.
Anyway, Nancy Jo's doing very well. Just directing
Nancy
this
Jo's
movie.
doing well.
Great.
Alexis is in her past.
It is super alarming that these companies, have such an effect over us, and they won't do anything. I mean, I don't think they care. Companies have been fucking us up forever, and we're like, oh, isn't it weird? We didn't realize the effects of the internet, and now our kids don't have eyes. They just have little screens. Isn't that weird? We should maybe think about doing something about it. Nah, we're making money. And I'm like, okay, it just doesn't matter. We could sit here and be like, man, these apps are destroying our ability to love and connect. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And we just go back to swiping. We love swiping.
Oh no, they have all my data. Oh, let's accept this new app. Like sync all data to app.
Personally, I don't want my friends to see my data, but the government can have it.
Right.
You know what
Russia,
I mean?
take it.
I will be hacked by the Kremlin. I don't want to be hacked by Sabrina, who lives next door.
Yeah.
You know what I
You do
mean?
not know what Sabrina got to do with your data. Russia will just
seriously, that's where my mind's at. I'm like, I don't want my friends to see this, but the Russian government, do what you want with this gay porn. It doesn't matter.
Well, is there in our minds, could we create the ideal dating app right now? Like, I know there's what we talked about where there's no pictures. I forget what that app was called.
Personals, and you all lied and said you would get
I think it's a good app for sapiosexuals. Like, I think they would get it because they like being like, ooh, my brain's working, I'm reading.
Yeah.
I'm so turned on.
I like how you used a nerdy voice, and I was like, yeah, that's me.
I know.
Like, if a man wrote a beautiful personal, it's like, oh, he's eloquent and he's emotional, and I don't need to see what he looks like. I will go on a date.
Yes, that's it. The keyword is because then after that date, if he ugly, you're gonna be like, this was nice.
Like, bye.
Your mind's
not
great.
Nice.
Send me your poem. We good. Bye.
What would be the ideal dating app if the four of us were to create one?
I think. Go ahead.
I think something with a video feature, because I'm so bad in photos, but people can get my vibe through video. So something that's like a video feature, a chat version.
That's cool, but it would be also a lot of pressure for someone who's not like you, who's used to making videos. I know.
But it can be an option. Hinge actually has that option where you can do photos, but one of the photos can be a video, and you can do a video either talking directly or doing something funny.
Yeah, we're just gonna see a bunch of frat dudes fishing. Okay, I don't want to.
Yes. What if when you swipe right, you get a list of questions that girl approved of. So they can be like, what's your TV show? What's your favorite book? Who'd you vote for? Like stuff like that. Like they approved.
Just sneak that
and sneak that in who you vote for.
Do you believe in the Clinton kill list?
And you're like, yes, no. Wait, okay, what about
No.
What about that?
Sorry, we've been talking extensively about the Clinton kill list backstage, and that's why that got me.
And we want to date the kill list.
For weeks.
It's not true.
I think it,
we're not getting this right now.
We're not getting into this.
Anyway.
Yeah. What about a chat roulette version where you just you're not making a video for anyone, but you're like, oh, they just match you up, and then you're in a chat roulette back to back with different people, and it's like, isn't there a connection?
Here's the issue.
That sounds scary.
The issue with chat roulette is if anyone is still going on chat roulette, I used to get drunk and go on.
Yeah.
It's just basically, I would just moon the camera and people would jerk off.
Yeah.
And I've done that so many times. It has just become a community.
It's penises though. It's
It's a community of jerking off.
But you can't put the dicks
It's really
on the
fun
app.
if you're drunk and home alone.
I love you, Allie's being like, woo!
I think the only thing we can do is bring back dating in real life. I think we need to do like speed dating. Like, would you guys come to a Build Brunch speed dating event?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We have our people.
I think we have to take back our power and bring community and people together. So I think maybe we'll do that.
We need to do that.
I love that.
Yeah. Why not?
Done.
People need to be less shy in person, I have to say, though.
Yeah.
Well,
If you want to do in real life dating. Because I'm on the train and people are looking at me and I'm like, hey, what's up? I know you want it. And they're like, oh no. And I'm like, you were like looking at me and you're being all sly. And then I'm like, here, I'm trying to make it happen. I don't have the time to be on Misconnections reading your stupid poem about me. Let's just make this happen now.
You might be coming on too strong if you're like, I know you want this.
Well, they were giving me clear signals.
A guy just blinks and Shannon's like, take it.
Yeah, they're like, what?
It's an empty train.
This guy gave me all the signals.
Train.
He almost dropped his pizza when he saw me, and then he started he was like staring at me. Then he was like looked at his phone and was like fixing his hair, and I was like, for what? You're not gonna make the move. And then I was getting off the train, and I was like, bye, bye, like holding the door, and he's just like, she's talking to me.
And that is dating in 2018 right there.
I try to make it so easy.
That's funny.
It's rough out there.
Oh my God.
Well, Barack Obama is back in the spotlight. Ooh! The former president dished on his past during a recent rally for California congressional candidates. In the speech, Obama revealed that he got kicked out of the happiest place on earth, Disneyland. Here's what he had to say.
After the concert, because we were teenagers, you could still kind of hang out in the park, and so we went into the gondolas. And I'm ashamed to say this, so close your ears, young people, but a few of us were smoking on the gondolas. Well, no, these were cigarettes, people. Terrible thing. I was booted from the Magic Kingdom. But you know what I remember about it was at the end, they said, you're going to have to leave, sir, for breaking the rules of the Magic Kingdom, but you are welcome to come back anytime.
Oh, Barry.
Oh.
Those weren't cigarettes.
Yeah, those were not cigarettes.
I mean, it's funny. It's kind of like, it is funny that like he's doing like a stand-up routine. I think 2018 politicians are comedians, while comedians are becoming politicians.
Wasn't that a clip from Nanette?
Weird choice.
His Netflix is working on a special. I mean, what is significant about this is that former President Obama is on the campaign trail campaigning for the midterms election, which is not usually done, that a former president's doing this. And it's significant because, you know, Democrats need only to take 24 seats to take back the House. Hillary Clinton won 25 seats that are held by Republicans. It's a lot harder to take back the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
They need every Democrat to win, and there's 10 Democrats in Trump states, and they need 2 more to win better work in Texas and Brits in Tennessee. They're likely. So it's significant that Obama is trying to get the vote out there and get people aware that we have to vote in the midterms because, and I'll end my spiel quickly, I'm just saying that it's not about impeachment. It's about holding this administration accountable. It's about healthcare. It's about infrastructure. It's about hurricane relief. And I want to say one thing. In 2010, we didn't vote, and Republicans took control of the Congress, and they drew gerrymandered districts, and it's the reason why Democrats have to win the House. 6% popular vote they have to win, and 11% to win the Senate. That's why it's so uneven. So this is why these midterms are so important, and why a former president is out there working his ass off, and while Hillary's raising money, why we'll all have to work in this together to raise awareness and get out the vote and vote in November.
There you go.
Yes, get out the vote.
I love that. It doesn't need to be so hopeless. We can do it. We can take action and make it happen.
Yeah. I know, hope.
And and if you want to smoke and get a cigarette like Obama, do it. And and like, you know, and if you don't want to vote for Obama, vote for Michelle. She just wants you to vote. It's not if you're a Democrat. Michelle Obama is having just when we all vote campaign, and she just wants everyone just to vote.
Yeah, vote for yourself. You know, literally vote for yourself. And, like, let your voice be heard. I mean, you have the opportunity.
Yeah, don't waste your vote like that.
Yeah. What, for yourself?
Yeah, don't go vote. Go vote for somebody real.
Go local election and vote for the person you believe best represents your ideas.
I don't mean like put your name in.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought you meant.
Because you can't vote for
I thought that's
Michelle.
what you meant. I thought that's what you
I
meant.
meant like vote for yourself. Like, don't be like, I'm gonna vote for my friend because they told me to.
Yeah.
Like, vote because it's a fucking right that you have.
Oh, I thought
like, No, don't be dumb, people. You can't put your name in.
What's interesting is a lot of people have criticized Obama because typically prior presidents don't come out and speak.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Yes, they
and he
don't.
did, though, give Trump that grace period. It was like, you know,
He was like,
over
"You
a
could be
year
stupid for
where he
too
didn't say
long."
anything and he disappeared. And I think it does say something that Barack Obama is out on the campaign trail, being hyper-partisan, which again is not typical. And I think it just shows how important this country is to him and Michelle and different members of his administration. So regardless of your political party, I think it's an exciting time to just see what's going on and to be engaged and to be reading more than just the headlines.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I mean, because like, you know, President Bush gave Obama, did not say anything. He went off to Texas to paint.
Yeah.
And I think we're in a little different of a scenario because, you know, the op-ed came out, this anonymous person in the Trump administration, this Bob Woodward book came out. Like, it is such a drastic situation that's happening, and like, you know, it's all hands on deck. So, you know, Republicans are actually happy he's campaigning because it provides that foil, but, you know, I think it's more positive because it's like, there is hope, we can all rally together. Let's do it.
I think, honestly, I really have I used to be somebody who read the newspapers every single day, and I really stepped away from that for the last 7 months. I stopped reading. And I think that's why I said read more than the headlines, because I really started actually reading things. And these are editorials by Republicans, Democrats, both sides. And I think it's just like, more than ever, there's so much going on and there's so much room for confusion. And instead of stepping away like so many people did for so long, now is the time to be engaged and read and educate yourself more than anything.
Totally.
That's just my 2 cents
Yes.
on that.
All about finding
100%.
common ground.
Yeah.
And speaking of politics, while you all may know Cynthia Nixon as Miranda from Sex and the City or as a progressive advocate running for governor of New York, what you might not know is her eyebrow-raising bagel order. Nixon ordered lox, cream cheese, tomatoes, onions, and capers on a cinnamon raisin bagel. New Yorkers are horrified with this choice, and the internet is going wild. Let's take a look.
Now I have tomatoes, and I have onion, and I have capers.
That's what I want.
A full load?
Full load.
Okay.
Cream cheese.
Cream cheese, what type? Scallion or plain?
We'll take plain.
Okay. I'm going to give you capers as well.
Yeah, with the cinnamon raisin. Yes, please. Capers.
You got it.
Yeah, sweet and salty. You're right.
Well, it was a nice campaign while it lasted, Cynthia. Good job.
She orders it with such confidence. I mean, cinnamon raisin combined with those other saltier flavors, you wouldn't expect it. And I think that's the leadership that this.
Well, funny enough, and don't forget the cream cheese with it.
Yeah, like we want
At
a
least she went
leader
plain.
who can find
Yeah.
the strengths in different assets and unite them. I mean, that is leadership.
And that's funny. Her representative said this represents her desire to speak for people with unpopular opinions, not mainstream opinions.
I love
so they are seizing this bagel
I love
controversy.
that she embraced it. And she's
Yeah.
now running a competition where, like, if you donate or something to her campaign, you can enjoy your favorite bagel with her.
Oh.
Like, she's done such a cute little way of being like, yup, that's my order, fuckers. You know?
I don't think this is weird at all. I exclusively eat cinnamon raisin bagels, so whatever I put on a bagel, it's gonna be on a cinnamon raisin bagel.
Interesting.
Cinnamon raisin, in my opinion, is at the bottom of the bagel.
Whoa! Hey, don't
Everyone
clap for that.
knows number one is
Don't clap for that,
everything.
Bennett.
Number one is everything. Clap if you agree.
What is the number
Everything's
one?
good. Everything. Like, these are number ones in everything bagel.
I thought you were saying like number one.
Number
I'm like,
one's
what's number
America.
But a
everything
toasted
bagel
cinnamon
is good.
raisin with cream cheese, just that?
Cinnamon raisin
that
bagel.
is
No.
amazing.
It's like everything, like salt,
I would never
onion.
order it, but then Brittany brought one in and I ate half of it.
Thank
Yes,
you.
that was so
I
good.
fed your soul
You
with that.
did.
goodness.
And it was so
you
good.
ate some of it. Don't be a little
Don't
I know, I
eat
loved
that
it.
cinnamon
There were no
raisin bagel.
capers on it.
Don't tell me it wasn't good.
No, that was cinnamon raisin. I love cinnamon raisin. She's the one
Cinnamon
who-
raisin belongs with like whole wheat, sesame,
Oh, you
egg,
shut your
the
mouth.
shit flavors.
Holy.
Oh my God, Allie.
What?
I'm gonna bring you in a cinnamon raisin
We are
bagel.
doing a bagel tasting.
Toasted,
No.
warm, with some plain cream cheese on top.
Oh my God.
That's good,
A
but
great way
however,
to start your
everything
day.
or salt or onion with cream cheese, that has a real flavor. That's salty. I don't like the sweet, like
I
of
love
all
this.
that.
You
That
never
tastes
like
cake.
salty and sweet together?
But
No,
that's
I
what Cynthia
love
Nixon
salty
likes.
and sweet, but like that is just like that's a little too cakey. That's not
I
a
just
true bagel.
think of you
Do
differently.
you like everything bagels?
Yeah, they're fine. Now you know how it feels.
No, but that
Okay, I love all bagels, okay? All bagels deserve to be loved.
All bagels. I think that's problematic.
Actually, sorry, my feet. But yeah, I love cinnamon raisin. I do love everything. I also love a plain bagel once in a while.
Ew, my God, you basic bitch.
Yeah, I like being basic. A plain bagel with butter sometimes hits the spot.
Okay.
It is good.
Yeah, I just think bread and butter is
thank
really
you.
good.
Thank
I don't even put cream cheese on my bagel.
Bread and butter is
Bread
great.
and butter, yum, yum, yum.
Bacon, egg, and cheese on an everything bagel. Shut the fuck up, you pussies.
Or just eat a pussy, I don't know.
It's totally.
I suggest there was when I went to my elementary school, I didn't like the lunch they served, so the lunch lady and I worked out a deal where I would just knock on the door and she would give me a bagel with butter.
Aww.
And I would do it every day. I was kind of chubby
Big
then.
Lucas.
And then one day I walked up and I was like, hey, I'm here for my bagel. She's like, honey, I can't give it to you anymore.
Why?
It's not healthy. And I was like, who told? Who told? And I was like, this is the worst day of my life.
Aww.
So that's why I like plain bagels with butter, okay?
You know, that reminds me.
Her name is Mrs. Bald.
Lucas, I used to play this game with my sister. My sister's 7 years older than me, and I thought we were playing a game. She'd be like, you want to play prison? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. And she would lock me in the bathroom and slide bread and butter under the door and be like, you're a prisoner. And I thought it was so much fun because I was like playing a character in there being like, I'm in here for murder, you know? And she would just like do her teenager stuff. And now when I bring it up, she's like, no, that didn't happen. And I'm like, we totally played prison like all the time.
You're like, I was constantly eating bread off a bathroom floor.
Yeah, and I'm loving it. I was like, it's good sister time.
Oh my God, kids play weird games. My sisters would beg me to pretend I was blind. They would blindfold me and carry me around the house.
Can we do that? I would love to carry
I was gonna
you
say,
around.
I just want to carry you around the studio sometime.
But I want just back to Cynthia Nixon because I think it is funny. It is really funny just watching politicians eat. Like I don't know if you saw when Bill de Blasio ate that pizza with a fork and knife or whatever, and John Kasich broke out in sweats when he had a sandwich. And bringing up my girl, this is actually kind of sad. Hillary refused to eat on the campaign trail. She's at this pie event, pies everywhere, pies. And there's a picture, and you look at her, and this is the pie, this is her. Sad and looking at it, and she later said, you don't have to be surprised. She's like, no, I don't want it because that's the picture they're gonna take.
She's
and she's like, and that explains. You want to go into the depth of Hillary Clinton, why she didn't like the media, but like, because she knew she did like this, they'll get that one. And it's funny because look at we're getting shit for Cynthia Nixon for eating a bagel the way she wants it. It's like no matter what, these politicians they try to relate to when they eat or don't eat or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes eating makes you look weak. Like you have to make people think like, I survive on success. I don't need food. I don't drink water. Like I get so embarrassed in my neighborhood when people see me carrying bags of grocery. I'm like, I don't need this food. I'm powerful. I'm like an alien. I live off the sun. It's kind of shameful to be like, I need this. These are my groceries. If I don't have food, I die. It's kind of
so
stupid.
embarrassing.
Right?
It is.
So dumb.
I
Humans.
totally feel that.
Well,
what a great
combo. We should move on. And now it's time for today's guests. Tommy Caldwell and Kevin Jorgeson are rock climbers who made headlines when they embarked on an epic 19-day ascent of Dawn Wall in California's Yosemite National Park in 2015. Now, after 3 years, their story is coming to the big screen in The Dawn Wall, a new documentary that chronicles their ascent on a route that was previously thought to be unclimbable. Let's take a look.
Hello?
Hey guys, it's John Branch from the New York Times. Tommy, why are you doing this? What's the point of all this?
Tommy's a freak. A freak in the prodigy sense of the word.
We had come to Kyrgyzstan to rock climb, and all of a sudden, we were hostages.
4 young Americans confront the ultimate choice: to kill or be killed.
Ever since Kyrgyzstan, I just have this fire in me that is different than anything I've had before.
We've been following 2 climbers.
Making a historic climb up the side of Yosemite's El Capitan.
This was always Tommy's dream.
Why am I doing this? Give it up.
Where are the lines between dedication and obsession?
Everyone, please give a warm Build Brunch welcome to Tommy Caldwell and Kevin Jorgeson. Guys, this trailer has me so excited to see the film. I know for you guys, this was a huge moment in your lives. So what does it mean that people are so interested in this story and that they're making a documentary over it?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a trip for me because historically climbing is for like bearded old men. And, you know, we go into the mountains and eat like cold oatmeal, and it just wasn't that cool. And just being here on this show makes me feel like we're entering a new era.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
You're raising the heights literally for climbers, and I think you're probably attracting a lot of new people to the sport too.
Yeah, the sport is blowing up for so many reasons right now, and yeah, it's amazing to be part of that.
I mean, but this climb, I can't even climb like, the rock wall in my gym. So like this, I think this guy named John Long, who's like a veteran climber, said this is like continues to be the hardest rock climb ever. So this is a huge fucking deal that you guys did this. Sorry, I have to say it like that because it's what it is. How do you guys prepare for this? What went into it?
You want to start?
I mean, I basically was, my father was a climber, so I was doing it from age 3. Wow. So I was sort of bred for it in a way. But then when I was a teenager, I got totally hooked, and you know that's really what happens. I mean, we're outside, we're in a beautiful place, we're doing something that has such a clear end goal, and so it becomes engaging. And it's like once you're in it, it's almost impossible not to, you know, spend your life kind of trying to prepare for bigger and cooler adventures.
Yeah, and what can we expect to see, like some interesting moments and moments that stand out to you guys over the course of the documentary?
Well, you guys see, everyone's followed the story of the climb itself, but what's cool about the documentary, it's like, it's not just the moment that the 19 days we spent on the wall, it's like everything that led up to it, like part of the preparation, a lot of Tommy's backstory, and
yeah.
So can you give us a quick overview of the climb? Because I read a Nat Geo article and it sounded like a nightmare. Like, you guys were up there for 19 days, and right?
Yeah, we're on the side of El Cap for 19 days, sleeping in portaledges, which were like these little hanging cots, kind of like a nest, but like, you know, 2,000 feet up in the air.
We were looking at photos of that, and it just looks so horrifying.
Yeah, how did you sleep?
You sleep like a baby.
Because yeah, totally. Because we're badass.
Yeah, exactly.
You
guys are tough.
No, yeah, and I mean, usually you don't spend 19 days on a wall. We just did a really hard route, and we climbed really, really slowly. Yeah, I mean, being like Kevin said, though, being up there is amazing. Like, it's sick view. You know, 2 friends hanging out, doing something really, really fun. I mean, I don't know, it was like a highlight for me.
I usually just do Seamless and watch a movie. But I'm curious, I'm fascinated by climbing and the entire culture that surrounds it. And I'm someone who actually consumes a lot of films about mountain climbers, rock climbers. And I'm just curious, like, and from my perspective, it seems like this is very dangerous. You could die. You're saying goodbye to friends and family before you go on these like adventures. What is it that's propelling you to do this? Like, other than it's, you know, it's a fun adventure. Like, it's so frightening.
Yeah, I mean, I think the cool thing about the style of climbing that we do is you're taking something that seems emotionally to be terrifying, right? Just like you think about it, but you make it pretty safe. Like, the way that we climb is actually quite safe. So for me, it's like it lifts me up because you're doing something that doesn't seem like it should work, and you should make it work. And that helps me, you know, that bleeds into everywhere else in life. I'm like, what else is possible? You know, we can do this in climbing. Where else can we do this?
It's part of the preparation you were asking about as well. It's like, how do you take this blank wall and make it so that we can climb it relatively safely? And so that was part of the 6 years of preparation, was like, okay, not only how do we get up it, but how do we get up it relatively safely as well?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that where the different pitches come in, where you kind of carve it out into different sections?
Yeah, that's kind of getting to the complicated logistics of how we do it, which is, you know, would take hours to explain.
But it's kind of like the Tour de France. That's like the best analogy. It's like, just like there are stages in the Tour de France, you break up the whole climb into, it's just rope lengths or pitches.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It seems like when I watch like people rock climbing or wingsuiting, I'm obsessed with wingsuiting. Do you guys ever do that?
No, but we know a lot of people that do it, and they're all dead now, basically.
They're all dead, yeah. Well, what I love about, you know, watching these videos is, my interpretation is that it seems like you guys have just like a clearer, stronger connection to what it feels to be alive and like life and being on a planet. And I don't know if that's just me projecting, but like, how do you go from doing something that's so great like this, it's such a huge deal, and then coming back to like this, like being like, oh, we're talking about the Kardashians today. Like, how do you meld those two worlds? Because it seems so separate to me. Like, I can't imagine a reality where all of a sudden I'm like, and I'm just on top of a mountain wingsuiting.
I think the weirdest part was going from living on the wall for 19 days to topping out to the media circus that we did.
Yeah.
Like, talk about two different worlds. I think that was one of the most disorienting experiences either of us have ever had, was going from this grand adventure with really just three guys, like Tommy, I, and the main shooter, Brett, to stuff like this. It was really, disorienting.
Yeah, does it make you, like, when you're here covered by cameras, is it like, does it make you like it less or more? Like, which, if you had your choice of a life, like if you were like, I don't want to do press.
I'd climb. My safe places,
right.
my safe places in the mountains. And yeah, it is like being out there is so emotionally like engaging that in some ways the rest of life does feel dull sometimes. So, I just try and get in fights with my wife or whatever.
Do you guys have another climb planned soon?
I mean, we're always climbing.
You're always climbing.
I mean, things like the Dawn Wall only come around, once in a generation.
Right.
But I think that's like our food. We have to get outside.
So how often is always climbing? Like, you got to climb today? Or?
I mean, yeah, like for instance, when I showed up in New York yesterday, I was like, I have to go to the climbing gym right now so that I can, be okay in this city for the next couple days.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You get a little stir crazy when you go too long. It's like getting low blood sugar if you don't climb enough.
Yeah.
You get a little grumpy.
I'm curious, like, looking back on this climb, what were some of the biggest challenges you guys faced, and if there's anything you feel you would have liked to do differently?
Believing it was possible was often, like, at least for me, sometimes the hardest part. Is you're spending so long. There's so many moments over the 6 or 7 years to have moments of doubt, but luckily Tommy's like the most optimistic guy I've ever met, so he would always like push through those moments. But yeah, like just believing that you're dedicating so much of your life to something that was actually gonna happen.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, when I first like found the route basically before Kevin joined us, and then I showed it to Kevin, and he was like, "Dude, you're insane! Like, why would you even think that this is possible?" And then for some reason you stuck around. I mean, I showed it to other people too, and everybody else was like, "No way! There's no way this is impossible." But Kevin, for whatever reason, stuck around, and yeah, we figured it out. So yeah, I think I feel the same way. That like belief that you can do it.
Yeah,
is what it's all about.
so there was a chance it could have been impossible. Like you could have been on them like, we can't do this.
the most likely outcome of the entire project was that we didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it was not even a coin flip. Like the chances were that we were gonna fail, but everything lined up, and for some reason it all worked out.
When you say that, like, we were gonna fail, does that mean that, like, you came across a path you mapped out and you were like, okay, this is just not scalable, or is that like an accident happening?
Yeah, I mean, you're grabbing onto things that are like, like the grain on this coffee cup, like such small holds, and figuring out where those are. It's a really blank wall. The likelihood of all those holds like linking into a continuous route seemed really unlikely.
Right.
There's sections of the route that we couldn't climb for years and years.
Yeah.
But we failed all the time. We'd go up there, we'd try, we'd fail, and then we would like miss being up there, so then we'd go back, and that's the nice thing about climbing. You can't just keep going back until you either die or you figure it out.
Right.
I think the biggest takeaway for me was actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, it was like pitch 15 that you got stuck on for like 10 or 11 days, and you actually kept ascending, and I just want to know, like, the hope component of this and that this teamwork, and I think it's such a beautiful story for that reason. Like, how much did that play into the climb? Like, you guys doing it together and supporting each other.
It was huge. I mean, there's no way we would have done this project alone.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I don't think. And then it just takes, it's just so much easier when you have someone else there, But then there's no way I would have finally succeeded on pitch 15 if Tommy didn't, like, reduce the pressure a little bit, But I remember this one conversation. He's like, dude, it's just like a big dude's camping trip. I'm happy up here. Like, take however long you want. No big deal. And he was always whistling and cracking bad jokes, and it just like helped take like the pressure out of the air a little bit. It was still super intense, obviously, but it was really helpful.
Yeah, the movie's pretty cool because it starts out as kind of like my personal journey, but by the end, it's like a buddy movie. Everybody likes a buddy movie.
Yeah. And since we are a brunch show, what's your favorite food to eat while you're climbing?
Usually the scene's pretty grim up there. Historically, you eat like, trail mix and like canned peaches and stuff. We were never that good. Until our final push, I was like, I'm gonna step up the game. Yeah. And we actually brought like bags of like salmon and cream cheese. It was winter, so I was like, we're living in a refrigerator. We brought a big Tupperware of veggies and stuff.
Wow.
Making, kind of gourmet food.
And you're bringing that up with you? all
yeah,
that
you
stuff?
put it in bags and you haul it up on pulleys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had a lot.
And is that the cameraman also? I'm also amazed by that aspect of how this was shot. And I was reading that one camera guy who apparently was very strong, was able to hold the camera.
Oh man, we could go.
Yeah.
The whole shooting of this thing is such an adventure in itself, and we could talk about that for a long time. But yeah, there's very few people in the world that can hold a camera in that kind of environment, and they have to be incredibly badass, and they are. And luckily, we're really good friends with them.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're a part of the team. We're all up there together.
Yeah.
Right.
It was cool.
Well, this team sounds amazing, and honestly, reading your story is so inspiring to me in so many ways, and I think people are really going to enjoy the documentary. So thank you guys both for joining us. Give it up for Tommy and Kevin. And you can check out The Dawn Wall, which hits select theaters on September 14th and is available nationwide September 19th. That's all from us today. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same table.